Well, here we go. Everyone, at some point in their life, has experienced a situation where they felt trapped, suffocated by someone who seemed to be manipulating their emotions. This can happen in any kind of relationship, with your partner, with friends, with family. And what's worse, most of the time, you don't even realize you're being manipulated. You only realize it when you're already there, up to your neck in it, feeling like you've lost control of your life. So, before this happens to you, or happens again, let's talk about the signs of emotional manipulation. Because the truth is, once you recognize these signs, it's like you have a key in your hand to get out of it. So pay attention and write everything down. Is guilt always on you? Guilt is a tricky feeling. The manipulator loves to dump the blame on you, even when you have nothing to do with the situation. The magic of this game is that it makes you feel responsible for everything that goes wrong, as if the person's happiness depended exclusively on you. Just imagine, you're out at an event with friends, and the manipulator makes a big deal because you didn't stay at home with him. The next day you hear, "If you really cared, you would have stayed with me." This is to make you feel that, as much as you have your own needs, they don't matter. The result? You feel bad for wanting to have fun, for taking care of yourself. Guilt, in this story, is a powerful weapon. The manipulator doesn't want you to have your own voice or to make choices that displease them. The idea is that you feel so guilty that you don't even think about defending yourself or confronting the person. And what happens as a result? You end up losing your self-esteem, your self-confidence, because you live in fear of displeasing them. And believe me, nobody deserves to live like that. Recognizing when someone tries to make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself is essential. By freeing yourself from this guilt, you take an important step achieving emotional independence. Emotional blackmail. The low game. Emotional blackmail is one of the lowest tricks in the manipulator's playbook. You've probably heard phrases like, "If you love me, you'll do it for me," or "I don't know how I'm going to live without you." It's the kind of phrase that can make your stomach knot up, because deep down, nobody wants to be the cause of another person's suffering. Manipulators know this and use the fragility of human emotions to get what they want. It's a way of controlling and dominating, like a game in which you are always the moving piece. The problem is that this strategy can become a routine in your life. You end up doing things you don't want to, just to avoid making the other person sad or upset. And let's face it, that's not love. True love isn't based on manipulation or fear, but on mutual respect and the freedom to be who you really are. So the next time someone tries to make you feel like you owe them something in exchange for a favor, remember, that's not love. It's control. True love doesn't blackmail. Gaslighting, you even doubt yourself. Now let's talk about a serious issue: gaslighting. This technique is like psychological torture, where the manipulator distorts reality to make you doubt your own sanity. It can start subtly with small provocations such as, "You're exaggerating," or "That never happened." And then the magic happens. The person starts to transform your worldview into something confusing. When you start to question your memories and feelings, the manipulator has already won the game. What's really scary about this kind of manipulation is that you often feel completely alone in this battle. The people around you may not realize what's going on, and you end up feeling isolated. It's as if all the support that should be there is disappearing. That's why it's essential to stay connected with your emotions and intuition. If you start to feel like you're constantly questioning your own memories or feeling unsure about what's real, it's time to stop and reflect. Talk to friends or people you trust and seek clarity. You're not crazy. You're facing someone who is playing with your head. The famous cold and hot game. The cold and hot game is one of the most frustrating tactics that manipulators use. One day, they're treating you like you're the most special person in the world, and the next day, you seem like a stranger. This emotional instability means that you're always trying to please, looking for the affection that was offered last week. The truth is that nobody should live like this. You don't need to undergo an emotional temperature test every day. The problem is that this inconstancy makes you doubt yourself. You start to think, what did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? This constant self-evaluation is exhausting and damaging. And between you and me, nobody deserves this kind of pressure. The manipulator creates this cycle of behavior so that you are always seeking his approval, without ever knowing whether you will receive affection or contempt. Recognizing that this is manipulation is the first step to breaking this vicious cycle. Remember, you deserve relationships in which people treat you with affection and respect, without having to worry about mood swings. Cutting your ties with the world. Emotional isolation is one of the most insidious tactics. You know when someone tries to alienate you from your friends and family? Why do you still hang out with so-and-so? He doesn't understand you like I do. These words are a red flag. The idea is simple. The manipulator wants you to depend on him. The more isolated you are, the more control he has over you. And this is a game of power, not love. What many people don't realize is that by distancing themselves from those who really care, they end up losing their own identity. Your friends are important, and family is a vital support. By isolating yourself, you find yourself trapped in a toxic relationship, believing that it's the only option. But that's not how it should be. A good relationship should enrich your life and not leave you without support. Recognizing that you are being isolated is fundamental. And if you find yourself in this situation, seek support, talk to someone you trust, and strengthen your connections. True love is not lonely. Praise and criticism, the back and forth of self-esteem. The manipulator is a master at the game of praise and criticism. One day he'll make you feel like you're the best person in the world, and the next, he'll criticize you in a way that makes you feel like crap. This constant oscillation undermines your self-esteem, making you doubt yourself. You start to feel insecure about your own abilities and even about what you really like. This cycle of praise and criticism is a form of emotional control. The manipulator wants you to depend on him for your self-esteem. When he praises, you feel great, but when he criticizes, you feel terrible. The result is a constant search for his approval, and this is neither healthy nor normal. True love is balanced. You should be accepted as you are without having to live according to what the other person thinks. Be vigilant and try to strengthen your self-confidence. The path to healthy self-esteem lies in accepting who you are without depending on the validation of others. Disguised contempt, those who love, respect. One of the most subtle signs of emotional manipulation is disguised contempt. You notice that your opinions are constantly disregarded, as if they had no value. The manipulator may not shout or be aggressive, but they will make you feel that your ideas are not important. And that, my people, is a big problem. Contempt may be subtle, but it's super impactful. When you feel disrespected, your self-esteem plummets. No one deserves to be in a relationship where their opinions are devalued. True love implies mutual respect. If you find yourself constantly having to justify yourself or feeling bad about sharing your thoughts, it's time to rethink this relationship. You deserve someone who values your voice and your ideas. Remember, true connection comes from respect and valuing others. Favors with ulterior motives, the demand for gratitude. When someone does something for you, the expectation of retribution shouldn't be a rule. But for the manipulator, this is an opportunity for control. They're going to do you a favor, but then they're going to charge you as if you owed them something. This demand for gratitude is a clear sign of emotional manipulation. It's as if he's saying, "Look, I did this for you, so now you have to do what I want." And the point is that this exchange of favors is not love. True love doesn't require you to pay something in return. If you feel pressured to return favors, be wary. The manipulator will use this emotional debt to keep you under control, and that's not fair. Love should be free and unconditional. Whenever someone tries to put you in this position of emotional debt, take a deep breath and think about whether it's really healthy. You deserve relationships where the help is genuine and without expectation of return. The fear of being disliked. How can you live other people's lives? Another clear sign of emotional manipulation is the fear of being disliked. Do you feel you can't express your opinions or desires because you're afraid of the other person's reaction? That's a big red flag. The manipulator makes you believe that your needs don't matter, that you have to submit to their wishes. And that's not right. A healthy relationship should be a safe space where you can be yourself without fear. If you feel like you always have to choose between being happy or pleasing someone else, it's time to think again. This kind of emotional pressure isn't love, it's control, and you must free yourself from it. Remember that it's perfectly acceptable to have your own opinions, wishes, and desires. You don't have to feel guilty about being yourself. Constant feeling of confusion and anxiety. Finally, one of the most insidious signs of emotional manipulation is the constant feeling of confusion and anxiety. When you live in a state of alert, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, that's a sign that something isn't right. The manipulator creates such a confusing environment that instead of feeling secure in the relationship, you end up on an emotional roller coaster. This constant anxiety can wear you down emotionally. You find yourself so focused on pleasing the other person, trying to understand their moods and reactions, that you end up losing yourself. When you realize that you can't relax, even in moments that should be peaceful, it's time to reevaluate what's going on. This confusion is not normal and is not part of a healthy relationship. Remember, you deserve peace of mind and a relationship where you can be who you really are without having to feel anxious all the time. Identifying the signs of emotional manipulation is crucial to protecting your mental and emotional health. By recognizing these patterns, you can set healthy boundaries and move away from toxic relationships. Remember, you deserve love and respect, and you shouldn't give it up because of someone who just wants to control you. Trust yourself, value your emotions, and look for relationships that lift you up, not pull you down. Your well-being should always be the priority. So, did you like what you learned about the signs of emotional manipulation? If you identify with any of these behaviors, it's time to take action. Don't let anyone control your emotions or lower your self-esteem. Remember that you deserve healthy relationships where respect and love are reciprocated. If you found this content useful, share it with someone who also needs to hear it. Together, let's spread awareness about emotional manipulation and help more people free themselves from these situations. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more valuable tips on personal development and relationships. Comment down here with your experiences or questions. I'm here to listen. And remember, change starts within you. Take care of your emotional health and value who you really are. See you next time.